everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and welcome to some more Arkham Knight gameplay. Proving once again that good things come to those who wait. Or at least, things come to those who wait. Thanks a lot for bearing with me on this, folks. I'm glad we're finally back. Doing it again. Getting through the game. Close, stay out. Hey, look, soda cola. Had that reference a lot in City. Cool to see actual machines. I think you can actually bust up those machines. And look, spelling out one of the major themes of the game on a billboard. Is Batman bad for Gotham? I've probably already mentioned that, but it's been months. What do you want from me? Ah, the atmosphere of this game. It's just wonderful. I should let my wife loose on this game and get her just to do all the side mission stuff. She loves Spider-Man 2 for that. Boy, how far we've come since then. I thought that was, at the time, an incredibly expansive world. And Sarah didn't like to play the story in that game. She just wanted to go around and save people and beat up bad guys and try to find everything 100% it. I'm a little lost right now, trying to figure out how to get in here. Spoiler alert, I'll figure it out. There's some doors you can't go in. But there are some doors you can. Eventually, I imagine a game like this will allow you to go in every building if you can figure out how to get in.
Crane's killed her already? He's got no sense of occasion.
That sounds like it would take years and years and years to develop.
We both know fear is theatrics, Batman. So permit me the indulgence of putting on this show.
Ooh, maybe I got bag-faced wrong.
You know, like with a lot of things, a second look at this
I can practically taste it.
is really interesting.
What's happening?
Barbara!
Furious theatrics.
Yes, you see it now. The horror behind the glass. The monster that will be your end. Unless you pick up that gun and deny him.
Don't listen!
Please, no!
Barbara, it's me!
This was incredibly intense first time around.
Your friend!
You won't get me. I won't let you get me.
You will bring death to all who follow you.
Sir, what's happened?
She's gone, Alfred.
What do you mean?
Barbara. Scarecrow was punishing me. He killed her.
Love the score.
Oh, my... Well, sir, we need to focus. The people of Gotham need you.
I should have protected her, Alfred. She's dead because of me.
Sir, please listen. Stagg's files have revealed what the Cloudburst does. It's a dispersal device. Sir, don't you see? Scarecrow has the means to engulf the entire city in fear toxin. You stopped him from making it operational, but it's only a matter of time. Sir, did you hear me?
He heard you. He's wondering how he can live with himself.
He can't hear you, though.
Master Bruce, don't let Miss Gordon's death... Don't let it be for nothing.
Oh, you can't bring her back. Let Uncle Jay take charge. No more bad memories, no more pain, no more fear. Scout on.
Ivy.
Oh, no.
Sir?
Alfred, run a satellite scan of the city. Let me know the instant you locate the cloudburst.
Of course, where are you going?
GCPD. Ivy was immune to Scarecrow's toxin.
You think she will help?
She doesn't have a choice.
Interesting how even after a catastrophe like that, Batman's head is still partly in the game. He's always got one foot in the mission. This is going to be difficult to even comment on and address without giving things away if you're in the, again, small percentage that doesn't want anything ruined while you're watching this playthrough. So I'll just say that there are some things about that scene that I think are maybe a little bit inconsistent with how things are working with the fear toxin. That's all I'll say. That might even be giving too much away. As I said, I'm not real happy with the way Barbara Gordon is handled in this, although there's and I mentioned it, there's a line in that scene that at least shows that there's some forethought and that we're thinking real hard about Batman's fears, and that is playing into the story thematically really well, or at least it's trying to play into the story thematically. I don't know that I like it at the end of the day, but we'll talk about it when we get there. At the end of the day. Again, dealing with a little bit of the side stuff here and there when it comes up, as we start to really near the end of the story. By the end of this, I started ignoring these trucks and cars that I can chase.
That's another one of the malicious lieutenants out of the picture.
The most wanted stuff is really easy to take out while you're driving around on your way to something else. Oh boy, wasn't that exciting? Wasn't that invigorating? Yeah, see? Some of the thugs, random lines and banter. Oh wow, I totally jumped that. Are really funny and really interesting, and sometimes it's beyond goofy. Some of those are just badly written. But not all of it. We're real inconsistent with the writing in this game.
Good to see you, Batman.
Sometimes it's hard to believe that we don't have a veteran Batman writer on this game, and sometimes it's painfully obvious. Is it weird to anybody else that you have to walk through lockup to get out of the building? Like, it seems like that's designed just
what the hell happened on that
because you're Batman going through it.
I'm guessing
so that he can be taunted by the bad guys.
He's still looking for Barb. I can't reach him. Tell me you found her, Batman.
Cash, I'm sorry.
No, don't say it. Not her.
If Gordon comes back here, lock him up. He goes after Scarecrow. It only ends one way.
Wow, he's the commissioner of police. Like, do you really think... I hadn't caught that line before. Lock him up. Cash doesn't have the authority. I wonder if Cash carries cash, or if he only ironically uses a credit card.
I need your help.
From where I'm standing, you need a miracle.
Why didn't the gas affect you?
You are scared.
You would be too, if you knew what Scarecrow's planning.
And I should trust you. Why?
Because without your help, every plant in this city will die.
I like how that was a big beat in the score. You are scared. Da-na-na-na!
About that miracle.
I created a spore to counter the effects of Crane's toxin. It's easy when you know how, and can manipulate plants on a molecular level.
Could it protect the entire city?
Theoretically, but there's no way I can produce enough on my own.
Then let's get you some backup. Where to?
The Botanical Gardens. They're the oldest plants in Gotham. They'll tell me what we need to do.
This is such a scantily clad outfit for Poison Ivy. I doubt it's cosplayed very often. Although I've seen cosplay with women wearing that little or less, I suppose, but... I like how much mileage we're getting out of Poison Ivy in this game.
The shutter door isn't opening. What's happening?
There's one big mother of a tank driving around out there. It doesn't look friendly.
Neither do I. Open the shutter door and I'll scan it from the rooftops. See if I can find a weakness.
I'll open it. Try not to get killed.
There's an unusual fascination for her in these games, and I'd love to go back and look at the first two and check out her arc going through the 3 games.
There's
Just remind myself of what exactly we did with her
Its
before.
hull to find a weakness I can exploit.
With her, there is an attempt at a nature versus technology theme.
Attention all units.
Literally man versus nature.
Sector 3. All non-essential personnel.
I need to zoom and focus on the target to scan.
I don't think we ultimately ever quite go far enough with. Okay, I'm going to warn you right now,
Now
this takes longer than it should. This tank drives down these narrow alleys and stuff, and it makes it really hard to get a good side view. So it's really easy to scan it from above and to scan it from behind, but you got to get each side of it.
I've already analyzed this section.
And to get to the side of it without it detecting you is kind of tough. So, I'll just jump around a lot for a while, and we'll take in this wonderful ambiance and listen to Scarecrow's tauntings and musings and posturings. We'll see if we can find random
Can't get a
little
clear shot. I need to
tiny
find a better
tidbits to
angle.
comment on. Origins took place at Christmas. This game... Oh, that was smart, Batman. This game takes place on Halloween night, naturally, because this game is all about Batman's fears. Long-standing tradition of stories set at Halloween for Batman. Most obvious of which, of course, is Long Halloween. Again, this might be a thing that I talked about in previous videos. But I've always enjoyed that. See, I'm like, well, I tell you what, I'll just get right next to it and hope for the best. But I've always liked Batman stories at Halloween because costume crime fighters are always made fun of, especially well before the days of cosplay, for dressing up when it's not Halloween. What is it, Halloween? You hear thugs and villains saying all kinds of things. Come to think of it, part of Batman Forever takes place in at Halloween.
I have the cloudburst, Batman, and I will use it.
There's that music that tells you there's a body nearby. I'm considering going for it, but ultimately I'm gonna run off and not bother with it right this minute. I just feel like an idiot running around the rooftop when I can hear that.
Too far away to get a readable
Not
scan.
immediately find the body. I've looked at a couple of other people doing playthroughs of this that either haven't played through it yet or are pretending really well that they haven't. And they just figure out everything immediately that takes me 10 minutes running around trying to do. So again, this is taking an absurd amount of time. You know what would be cool? You do a video game based on Long Halloween. It's a really popular series. I'm surprised that there hasn't been talk of making that into an animated movie yet, like we've already done with Dark Knight Returns, and like is about to happen, or is in development, is in production right now for Killing Joke. You do a video game based on Long Halloween, and you make it a story-based game that's mostly about detective work, and it probably would be a little bit more puzzly than even this game, and a little bit less heavy on the combat. And you release it in chunks, make it like some of the Telltale games have been, maybe even do it as a Telltale game, and you release one chapter of it each month on the holiday that chapter's about. I think that'd be a fun gimmick.
That's the right side scanned.
There we go.
I just need to scan the left side.
We are 2/3 of the way there of a little mission that probably took everyone else a fraction of the time. And frankly, I think took me a fraction of the time the first time I played it, as it's taking me right now. But that's okay, because we're enjoying our sightseeing. Tell you, man, it's really hard. Oh, wait, just turn around and scan it. What is wrong with me? There are times when it's
I've already analyzed
hard for me
this
not to
section.
just want to run around the city and not even deal with story stuff. It's just so much fun to explore. Find all the little nooks and crannies. We'll talk about this again later, but
You fought hard, Batman, but your search for the Cloudburst is just beginning.
because I know this is a video game, and we have to stretch things out as long as possible. I'll talk about this again later on when we get to examples of it, but I think it's odd that as massive as this game is, there's so much going back and forth to the same, like, 2 or 3 locations over and over and over again, with especially...
The Cobra drone has enough firepower to rip the Batmobile to shreds in just a few shots. And its armor is too thick for my weaponry to penetrate head-on.
I got really lucky
However,
there.
there is a weakness. The drone's rear exhaust port leads straight to the power core. One well-placed shot with the Batmobile's 60mm cannon should take it out.
The power core. Yes, that was in episode 1 Boss Nass reference.
I can call in the Batmobile.
What I started to say earlier was the 2 main locations I'm talking about are the Gotham City Police Department and the movie studios. And for where we are in the story in those places, it makes sense we have to keep going there. But I think that we're going back to the same locations
the movements and get behind it for a clear
more
shot
often
of the
than we did in the other 2. All right, let's go get it. Taking out these Cobra tanks is sometimes monotonous and irritating. Okay, is this music reminding anybody else of Dark Knight Rises? I know there's a lot of Hans Zimmer in these games and a lot of stuff that sounds just a note or 2 off, but is rhythmically exactly the same. This whole bit here is that part of the score, which I love, by the way, in Dark Knight Rises, where
Cobra Scout destroyed. Impossible. We know what caliber rounds he's using. The armor was impenetrable.
You can't just roll a single heavy armor unit into the field and expect to crush him under it. He's better than that. Initiate stage 2 attack protocols. Deploy all Cobra units in group formation.
It's that section where Bruce falls in the rope in the pit, and it's real tragic, and he's making no headway, and it's real. It's part of this montage. It's real twisted, and
I've got support nearby. I'm sending it in.
sad, and it's nearly the same music, except
2 Cobras operational.
this is going on, of course, much longer. Dun 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 dun.
The tanks
Oh,
appear
God.
to be attacking
Better
in
run.
formation. I need to keep my distance and strike them from behind.
To quote Rachel Dawes, yeah, you better run. Except in this case, it's Batman that has to do the running. And that's a little more than a taser. That is the most enormous donut shop in the history of enormous donut shops. Ferris Mall, I hadn't noticed that before. I'm assuming that's a Green Lantern reference. Batman, the property damage. I mean, I realize this is a major life and death situation, and that we're fighting to wrestle the entire city this time back from the scourge of villainy. But you couldn't build a car that you could drive without wrecking things whenever you take it out. You just can't drive 5 feet without knocking stuff over. The first time I played this, I thought I was just driving the car wrong. I realized, no. It's what happens when you take this huge tank that's not the most maneuverable thing in the world.
Barbara Gordon worked for you. She fought for you. And look what we got her.
Yep, we get it. You guys want Batman to think that all these things are his fault. A little overwritten. I mean, I appreciate the game trying to always root the gameplay in the story we're telling. The problem, of course, is that, as I said in my Arkham Asylum Superhero Rewind, video games are stories with all the boring stuff put back in. So, you know, we gotta go around and do all the busy work, and it would be easy to, you know, work on something for a couple hours, especially if you got lost, and kind of forget what the context was, I suppose. But then it sort of feels like the equivalent of spoon feeding. And give the audience a little bit of credit. We can remember the not especially complicated villain motivations and the thing Batman feels really guilty for that just happened in front of us. As adult as these games get, and, you know, there's a little bit, of course, you know, there's more language than we really had in any Batman games previously, and there is some, you know, sexual innuendo here and there, and that kind of stuff. I was a little bit surprised by some of the things that it decided not to show. This is just taking me forever. And I thought Joker standing in front of Barbara pretending to shoot himself was a really clever device.
All clear. Continuing area patrol.
And again, gives you a hint about more of what's really going on in that scene. It's going to be a fascinating thing to try to do a narrative analysis on down the road. Look how massive Wayne Enterprises is. Look at that building. that is enormous and exaggerated, and I think done with purpose. I'm frustrated now. I'm just blowing stuff up. This is the kind of section of sin part of Gotham, it looks like. The sleazy bars. I'm sure if they hadn't evacuated, you'd see prostitutes there. One of these I find amusing.
Come out and face me, Batman, if you dare.
Is you get in a section like this, you'll go for a full 10-15 minutes and you'll remember, oh yeah, there's somebody in my trunk. So Poison Ivy's back there being really irritated that we haven't gotten to GCPD yet. Or not GCPD, wherever we're taking Poison Ivy, I forget. And, yeah, this is taking this long because I could not for the life of me figure out where the other tank was. It was... Okay, so I wasted that. I couldn't get on the same level with it. I couldn't figure out where it was. But it gives us the chance, friends, to spend some nice quality time together. Talk about Batman. Drink our Mountain Dews, as I'm sure you're all sharing with me. You might have a different flavor of Mountain Dew than mine. I have normal Mountain Dew. You might have Code Red. Whatever that white stuff is called. You might even have the Mountain Dew energy drink, but I'm sure...
As soon as I detect that crowers, Batman!
Mountain Dew is the drink of Geekvolution, is the drink of choice of Geekvolution. It's like that ad before Batman 89. You can't watch a Warner Brothers movie without wearing a Warner Brothers ball cap. You can't watch a Geekvolution video without drinking a Mountain Dew. Nah, I'm kidding. You can. I don't want to isolate people.
Where's he gone? Commencing area search.
You don't drink soda because you want to be healthier than that, live longer. Good for you. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I mean, I don't know if it was worth the wait, but I got him.
This. Tonight ends with Gotham's ball and me watching you die.
He is real fixated on Batman's death. That's going to be important later, folks.
Batman, or you can kiss that miracle goodbye.
How did she not complain earlier about how long this is taking? My shoulders are cramping up. It's always funny when somebody that's not a criminal has to go back there because they're still locked in. I guess it's sort of like riding in the back of a police car, except clearly far less comfortable. That does not look comfortable.
We're here, Ivy. What now?
Look at her.
Keep your hands
She's
and
been here since
feet
before
inside
man
the
walked the
car
earth.
at all times.
She still holds great power. But
Maybe
she's
it's like
weak,
riding a roller coaster.
poisoned by decades of pollution. She won't be able to fight Scarecrow's toxin on her own.
Then we need another.
There aren't any left like her. Not anymore.
What happened?
What do you think? Man, you cut them back, built over them, stopped them from reaching the sun.
If I can locate the roots, could you revive them?
They're lost. Buried beneath this concrete monstrosity. How will you...
The bigger the plant, the deeper the root. You wait here. I'll find a way to break them free.
Is that always true? I don't know a great deal about trees and plants. I guess that's true. And we are bookending with Arkham Asylum a little bit with all this Poison Ivy stuff. That was one of the most memorable
Lucius,
images.
I need a way to track an ancient root system. It's deep underground.
I'm sure I can throw something together, but it may take me a little while. Come to Wayne Tower when you're ready.
Thanks, Lucius. Alfred, give me an update on Gotham's Most Wanted.
Lucius Fox has that
Nightwing
real
has
thick,
been
manly
tracking
beard.
Another of Penguin's trucks. This will undoubtedly lead to another cache, and a chance to rid the city of Cobblepot and his flood of weapons. We also have a robbery in progress at the Bank of Gotham
Get
in
it,
Chinatown.
cash.
Surveillance footage confirms that the perpetrators are known associates of Two-Face. Perhaps Mr. Dent has misplaced his coin. Whatever his reason, he needs to be stopped.
Thanks, Alfred.
You know what a better idea might have been? Finally let Two-Face be a major villain in your game. Like part of the A story. Like you pretended like he was in Arkham City.
Alfred, I'm heading to Wayne Tower parking garage. Let's see what Lucius has come up with to locate Ivy's plant.
Mr. Fox hasn't failed you yet, sir.
City, we need to show him who's boss. So, whose throat are we gonna slit first?
Sometimes the Joker dialogue gets awkward because there's so much of it that it will often get buried under other dialogue. And I'm never sure, at least until I get to the end of the game, how important some of what he says is going to be. Like, should I stand around and listen to all of it?
Lucius, open the parking lot entrance.
In a thing like this, how important is all the dialogue to the story?
Must be a glitch in the system. I'll get that checked immediately.
Because that's not ominous. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen, folks. Smells like... ambush!
Mr. Wayne, the perimeter's been breached. We have some uninvited guests.
Not for long.
Not for long. I'm Captain Batman. I drove right into that. Well done. Well done there, too. Let's see if I can redeem myself. Batman, I'm questioning what you're doing to the structural integrity of your own building here. Let's take out these columns
Batman's taking out a drone.
that are holding out. Yeah, and the columns.
That's a hit.
You ever play that puzzle game for the Sega Genesis? Columns.
Alpha target just
Sometimes I
hit a
get the
Diamondback. Armor breach.
song from that game stuck in my head.
Drone flank initiated.
It's weird to live in a day and age where that reference makes me sound old, but that's where we are now because time passes.
Batman's taking out a rattler.
So this stuff I have discovered is something of an acquired taste. As I got better at it, I started to enjoy it more. Some of the challenge comes in being in close quarters like this. Mercifully, you've always got the sights. You know, the beams, the red beams that shoot across, the white beams that turn red when you go into them. And so, you've always got a couple seconds. You know you can get out of that and not get hit. If they were just shooting at you and you had such a delay in between your own shots, it would be nightmarish, unfun, and I would probably invite someone over to play for me and simply comment on the aesthetic and the atmosphere and the story stuff as I'm doing right now. Or I just get on a Skype call and watch Steve Baxi play. Oh, Steve Baxi. Why do you have to be so much better at me than me at virtually everything? And by virtually, I mean virtual everything. Like, digital and video game things.
Sir, I've got a system shut down on multiple drones.
There we go. Finally used that thing. One thing that made me a little bit insecure playing this the first time was I kept feeling like the weapons I had and didn't know what at my disposal with the Batmobile. I wasn't sure what buttons I needed to press to use them, and discovered that, as I discussed in the previous hour, you need... Oh man, I'm on fire! Look out, me! That you need the prompt. I'm just really mangling up my own parking garage here.
Diamondback's hit! It won't take another strike!
It's cool that we get to do all this stuff with Wayne Manor.
That appears to be the last of them, Mr. Wayne. Your upgrade's ready for collection.
And that and the clock tower are used as kind of your headquarters in this game as opposed to the Batcave. It would have been nice to get to visit the Batcave again and see how it had changed since Origins.
Just fire out a pulse, and the onboard computer can generate an image of what you've scanned below. And yes, it's sensitive enough to detect long-dead plant roots, assuming they're there to be found.
Anytime Lucius Fox, no matter what the continuity now says, and yes, I really expect him to say it comes in black. No matter the context, doesn't matter if it makes sense.
Another incursion. Lock the building down and transfer remote production to Alfred.
Consider it done, Mr. Wayne. Good luck with the gardening.
Master Bruce, I'm afraid those drones were just the beginning. I've detected a significant redeployment of vehicles from Founders Island into the north and south of the city. It seems the Arkham Knight is tightening his grip.
I'm ready for you, Alfred.
Very good, Sam.
I found a way to track the root systems beneath Gotham.
Follow the roots. They'll take you where you need to go.
Follow the yellow brick roots.
Drone's been hit! It's still in the fight!
So this is all just busy work, right? I mean, we're playing it as...
Your time's gonna come, Batman. Just wait.
It's working okay, you know, what Alfred says. The Arkham Knight is tightening his grip. He's got more of these things everywhere. You know, my big question, though, is where in the world did he get all these guys? I mean, it's really the same problem.
I should secure the area before activating the sprinkler system.
I've got with some of Bane's men in Dark Knight Rises, and a lot of people have made comparisons to some of the issues with this game and that movie, and the fact that it's an attempt at turning this into a trilogy and giving it a definitive ending, and some of the problems that ultimately ended up arising from that, regardless of, you know, whether or not you think that really could work with a Batman thing. Once you kill off the Joker, I feel like all bets are off. At least we've got that with this. Where Rises, it's like, there's no way that guy is still in jail. He was able to be kept for 8 years. In this, at least, he's dead. But I digress. One of the things that is that reminds me a little bit of Rises is that idea. I've lost my train of thought. Oh, here's a side mission here.
Firefly.
And I've not finished this yet. And I totally botched this up here. I had not done this mission before.
Don't be afraid, Batman. Embrace the pain.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. The idea that Bane has all these loyal followers, and as I said in my rewind, you know, some of them are Maybe some of them are mercenaries, maybe some of them are people from leftover from the League of Shadows. We're not really told, but some of them seem really loyal and willing to die for the cause and all of that, and I wanted to know more of where they came from. Here, Arkham Knight has this militia, and they seem like these trained soldiers. Seems to all be there just for this thematic thing based on one line we'll get later where the Arkham Knight says that Batman turned him into a soldier. I don't know where he finds these people. They're not just common street thugs. I mean, like, some of them seem to be skilled, trained fighters. Maybe they're all criminals. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Especially with the development toward the end that really makes me question why they're still even doing this. So we gotta go take out another one of these things.
He's just wasted a twin rattler.
Cash, the redeployment of drones on Miyagani Island is destroyed. Tell your men it's safe.
You know, I probably should not admit this. I was always looking at the map, going around for the Cobras, of course, to see what direction they were facing and trying to find them in the first place, and also to see whether or not
Batman, but you need to wake her up.
They knew where I was. I did not until just now realize that you can actually see the other tanks on the map. I just never looked at it. I don't know that I really needed it.
Break her free, Batman.
I forgot that you have to hold the stick button down all the way in order to get the big blast. Sometimes it will give you a hint or a prompt about these sorts of things. Sometimes it will give you instructions when it seems obvious and you've done it 100 times, but other times where you couldn't possibly know what you're supposed to do. So I went ahead and went over to this thing because I forgot that it was not related to the plant. I think it's so weird that they put this right next to the first of those plants that you're trying to wake up, because you don't know what you're doing. You're trying to figure it out. That really threw me for a loop the first time I did this, where I assumed that had to have something to do with it, and that's part of a side mission. If you haven't started doing that side mission yet, which I hadn't, you're not going to realize that it's not related. There's some confusing stuff like that where it feels like the game developers are a little bit too close to it. They're having a difficult time putting themselves in the shoes of first-time players. You'd think those sorts of things would get picked up more with test plays, but then I don't know how often and at what stage you do test plays for a major studio release like this.
Targets hit a drone.
And just a couple inches to your left there, Cat Batman.
Get closer.
Armor holding.
Yep, there are quite a few of them. It would have been useful to look at that map so I at least knew the number. Wow. Okay, you're gonna see places where I get hit by a thing from behind because I didn't know it was there, and you will scream at your TV or your computer screen or whatever you're watching this on. God, Captain Logan.
Drone down.
It feels weaker. You must be further away.
I'm thinking I should stick to my day job and probably not try to actually be Batman. But you know, like so many children when I was a kid, I wanted to be Batman.
The bomb's payload is exposed. I can use the power wave to
Told
trigger
people
a
I
control
was
explosion.
Batman. At 6 or 7 years old, I would walk up to people and tell them my secret identity. And then I would keep count. make sure that I didn't have more than a certain number of people who knew my secret identity. And I would tell them that my black bicycle was my Batmobile.
Bomb destroyed. Nicely done, Master Bruce.
Of course, Batman has a Batcycle, but
Protect these bombs, Sergeant.
I don't think I knew that right then.
I can make her grow, Batman, but you need to wake her up.
I need to sustain the sonar pulse so that it cracks the earth and
there we go. There's the prompt I need. I just feel like for this first one, it should have given me that in the first place, especially if it's going to put it next to a bomb like that. Just really feels like it should be related to this the first time you play it, or at least that's what I thought. If you lived in a city where that ever happened, I mean, I realize that most of the city's evacuated, but Poison Ivy has done stuff to Gotham before. You would move out, like, immediately, right?
Ivy!
They're attacking my plant. Protect her.
Keep firing. Bring it down.
Well, it is an enormous target.
Establish a perimeter. No one gets on this roof.
I can make her bark harder than steel, but I need time.
I'll protect you.
Oh, you can, her bark. Oh, that's a noun.
I need to take out the militia attacking Ivy's plant.
That plant's gonna bark. Harder than steel.
Keep them away. I need more time.
Seems like if Superman exists in this universe, you got Lex Luthor, so I assume that he does.
Keep fighting, Batman.
Forget if there's ever a direct reference to Clark Kent or anybody else. You'd think that maybe this would be the situation
Just a little longer.
where Batman finally calls for help. I mean, I realize part of the point of this game is that he doesn't like to do that, and that he thinks he should be totally independent and is worried about people he's hurt, but it's Superman. I'm not criticizing this game for not bringing Superman in. But realistically, it sure seems like maybe the time. Maybe the time. That is one big plan.
It's done. She's fully mature. She should be strong enough to neutralize Scarecrow's toxin.
Let's hope we don't need to find out.
Stay in the gardens, Ivy. I'll let you know if the situation changes. Alfred, tell me you found the cloudburst.
I wish I could, sir, but I'm encountering rather a lot of interference. No doubt a deliberate attempt to disguise their movements.
Run a full analysis of the Arkham Knight's forces.
Of course, sir, but I'll need some time.
Upload the data to the Bat computer in the movie studios when you're ready.
Yes, sir. In the meantime, there are numerous open cases yet to be investigated.
Ah, well, we'll do one of those next time. Thanks for watching. See you next time.